before we get started with the whole trip and stuff, let's figure out exactly what these people did when they did their efficiency challenge for Audi when going from LA to New York. First of all, they each had 4 people in each car, which I believe was an A7 TDI, an A6 TDI, and a Q5 TDI. And during the drive, they would get out and rotate drivers at every set point, and also at the same time probably take a bathroom break. In addition to that, they would make stops just to specifically refuel the car. Their fuel stops didn't make much sense in my mind because they ran the cars closer towards empty than you'd necessarily have to do in a long drive, especially through the desert. In places like this, you definitely don't want to take the risk of having less than 100 miles range on your fuel before you run out. But as you see, they have certain stats here that they push the Q5 to 38.623 mpgs, the A7 to 42.653, and the A6 to 43.561 at an average speed of 65.4 miles per hour. Well, the first thing you need to know is they barely drove through Texas. And the route that I will be taking through Texas is the majority of Texas. Obviously, the most of Texas you'd ever want to get done through in your trip. It takes about a day to get from one side to the other of the state. However, when you get into this no man's land area between El Paso and basically Austin, vertically up to, I believe that's Abilene, the speed limit here is 80 miles per hour for hours on end. That does a few things. It heats up your tires, it increases your wind resistance, and it definitely cuts into your efficiency. I find it funny that our TDI people, our gurus, avoided this area completely because I believe they knew that that 80 mile an hour speed limit would increase their drag and reduce their fuel economy, but it would also get them to New York faster. So they did a trade-off here that I don't think made much sense. But then further reading reveals that they may have cheated a little bit, because when you do a search here for PSI, you'll see that they would carry a full size spare pumped up to 51, and that their tires on the car were set to 54 PSI. Nobody in their right mind is going to fill their tires before a road trip to an eye-popping 54 PSI and load it with 4 people and luggage. That's just not safe. Nobody should be doing that to prove any point, and nobody should be doing that just to save a few dollars. What I'm going to do is go with the manufacturer's recommended PSI, which has been set at the factory and probably reset at the dealership when I bought it. And we will be checking it before I take off on my trip. But we're not going to cut any corners, and we're not going to do any cheating. We're going to take an honest route, go the highest speed limit we can take, get there as quickly as we can, and obviously have fewer people in the car, because it's just going to be me. Solo drive, cross country, 2,500 miles, and I bet that I can do it in less than 48 hours, and that I can beat these bloggers' numbers, and that I could also beat the EPA numbers. So I hope that helps.